and Sir Joe Bossano joins me live in the studio. Thank you very much for coming in.
Hello.
Can I just say, not very much acceleration going on at the moment. There's only 2 years left before that third decade is over and not a single delisting in sight.
Well, the fact that there is a third decade tells it all. I mean, I went to the first one and nothing happened. And then in the second one, Timor-Leste, that used to be a Portuguese colony occupied by Indonesia, was actually liberated because there was a regime change in Indonesia and they held a referendum and voted, and now Timor-Leste is one of the members of the Committee of 24. But things have moved not because of the Committee of 24, but in spite of it.
OK, well, let's just tell me, if you can just tell me, what was your involvement this year?
Well, every member, every government of the 17 territories is entitled to attend the seminars and make a presentation. And I think it's very important to go. I think that the previous administration was wrong to stop going after the 2006 constitution on the basis that we're decolonized already.
And yes, still no progress, though.
Well, the progress that you make is that if you're not there, you've got a guy putting his argument, which is what happened before I started going, and there is no counter-argument, so they only hear one side of the story. It's absolutely vital that we do it. Look, from my point of view, it's a damage limitation exercise. I can tell you that if we judge the success of being there, the example is that something like 15 of the countries that were there actually intervened to support Argentina against the Falklands. Not one of them supported Spain against Gibraltar.
OK, well, the UN calls for dialogue between the UK and Spain over the ROC's future, ignoring Gibraltar's freely exercised right to self-determination, one of its core principles, of course. So how does Gibraltar advance its case for delisting?
Well, the first thing you need to understand that things are not what they appear to be. When you say the UN calls for dialogue, you need to understand that that consensus wording has been negotiated between UK and Spain, and they presented to the chairman of the fourth committee, and then the chairman says, is everybody in agreement? And there is no vote because there is no opposition. So it's not that the UN is saying something to the United Kingdom and taking sides. This is the version that says that they need to have talks, and in addition it says that the UK will not have the talks unless we agree. So it contains both the Spanish position and the UK position. It's a consensus. It's considered to be better to do that than to risk a more hostile resolution. That's been the UK position.
OK, but how is the impasse going to be broken?
Well, the impasse will be broken because eventually Spain will lose the case and we will be decolonized. It's as simple as that.
How's that going to happen?
Well, it will happen because the position in Spain will change, because Spain, as I said there, is living in 1704. Eventually, they'll wake up and realize that we're not in 1704 anymore. The entire argument of the case of Spain is the exact argument that a fascist foreign minister, Castilla, put in 1964 when Joshua Hassan and Peter Isola went. They haven't changed a full stop or comma. They still say we're not Gibraltarians, we are English importees parachuted into Gibraltar, and that the guys living in San Roque are the equivalent of the Palestinian in the Gaza Strip.
And yet it goes on, and Spain keep putting up the same arguments, and Gibraltar keeps putting up the same defences, if you like. Yeah. How is that going to change? You seem pretty confident that it will.
Let me give you an example of something that has just been said by Dustis, that they would be very reasonable and making a very generous offer. My response to that there is, look, the generous offer that Spain is making is that they want to proceed with a co-sovereignty proposal, which involves them, because Margallo said so, them taking over 50% of the decision-making that the UK takes. If they and you tell us that the decision-making powers of the United Kingdom means they are still a colony, which I agree is the case, then it means that they want to become part of the colonial power. It's not decolonization. It's colonizing us and making us subject to two colonial powers instead of one.
OK, well, we're going to have to leave it there, and the battle goes on. Thanks very much, Sir Joe, for joining us.